frequency of 52 megacycles by authority of the Federal Communications Commission. A test program follows. To you who've been trained technically, I need hardly say that there's still a number of problems to solve. I guess you know them as well as anybody knows them. But I think we've proceeded far enough to justify the statement, at least, that these technical problems are not insurmountable.
But moving on to this week's breakdown. Now, if you live under a rock like I obviously do for not knowing about Keyforge Live, and I haven't seen this before, so we got every week we get some metrics from Liptops, who's part of Baguette and Switch, to go through the breakdown of the cards and the decks that we have in the tournament. And each week he puts a different thing to come on with, and then we end with our weekly 6-question quiz, which we all try and get more than 0 on. Is that the best introduction we've got, I think? So let's get started. So, the region numbers. I collected the data of all the decks selected in rounds are separated according to the team's region. Europe, there's 69 decks. USA, there's 60 decks. Asia, 21. South America, 6. And multiple countries, there are 9. We will see how decks are different between regions this week. So, has that disappeared for you? No, just me. Awesome. I'll look the other screen. I can see. Asia is very much playing a rushy deck and are the best at both expected amber and efficiency, which kind of makes sense from what we saw in KOTE. The multi-group is relying the most on big boards. Regions are the most unbalanced about disruptive, but Europe and USA playstyle is very similar. Now this all makes sense because for me is English is the dominant language in Europe and USA for people playing, whereas in Asia Pacific the local languages dominate much more. Maybe I'm being prejudiced here, but that's my experience when going out and playing. And so yeah, you see people following the content of the people around them. What's your thoughts?
I'm just looking at the ammo control and efficiency side of things. Asia seems to be bringing the most rushy decks. Multi-nations bringing the most board heavy ones. It's just, for me, Europe doesn't really stand out anywhere here. They're both well-rounded decks that don't exceed in any particular area, but are just good, consistent decks.
Yeah. I mean, so you're saying that the Europeans are more consistent and more careful, the Americans are more brash, and the Asians are faster, and the internationals are more big boys.
It's also taken into account that a lot of the more, I don't want to say underhanded, but I'm going to say tactical. A lot of the more tactical teams have brought very mid to low SAS decks, as we saw with So Salty.
Yep.
And are relying on reversal and short adaptive to get their wins in, which is a strategy that does seem to pay off, because we saw it happen with the Keyforge as well. They brought some very average decks and they were able to get the wins against the So Salty. It's a very good idea.
You went very tactical, Psyox, so your decks are bad at everything. Now that's an interesting tactic. It's not one I'd normally recommend.
It's one, yeah, we're going to stick with the Fellowship of the Archons, which is why Psyox is bringing it up. Hey, we won the Archon. Yes, So Salty, you did. You got very lucky there. You won the Archon game as well. I think even you can admit in the Archon game, you got the RNG was heavily in your.
And this chart on sets per region I find fascinating. Now, the reason I find this so fascinating was South America struggled to get mass mutation, and now we look here that it is after Worlds Collide the second most common, but there's no Dark Tidings.
It may be an overcorrect.
Well, no, there's no Dark Tidings. You mean he got many after the fact, maybe?
Yeah, so because they haven't been able to play mass mutation in many online events in the past, they've brought more of them now.
Maybe.
That makes sense.
I mean, the USA is fairly balanced. Yes, mass mutation and Worlds Collide's heavier. Europe has more mass mutation than Dark Tidings. Is not too surprising.
I love the fact Asia brought the exact same amount of Dark Tidings.
What's there? Sorry, repeat that, Brett.
I love the fact that Asia and Europe brought the same amount of AOA decks as Dark Tide.
Yeah, actually, I hadn't noticed that. That's a fair point. But also, so South America's so few teams, so it's hard to actually really get a good feel for it. But you can see here that in Europe, the
mass mutation in Asia is absolutely insane.
Yeah, okay, it's not another phrase for it. So house-wise,
America is quite well balanced.
Yeah, definitely. So if we want to move on to houses,
Yeah.
so again, you can see South America. Again, it's fewer teams, so it's harder to be clear on. But you can see they've just got that many more discs. But then they had so many mass mutations with discs. It's awesome. But if we look in Logos is the higher in international and Asia, which is not surprising because we see more speedy decks there. But Europe, I would say, Dis and Logos at the top doesn't surprise me.
No.
Unfathomable and Mars at the bottom doesn't surprise me.
Untamed and Saurian being above Shadows, however, in Europe does catch me off guard.
Yes, actually, it's a valid point. I didn't see that.
Looking at USA and seeing Dis, Shadows, Logos being the top three makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, and Untamed being in the top three is not a big shock, but it's more for the fact that Shadows is fifth in Europe.
I love in South America it's Dis, and then it's everybody else either not at all or like clumped up together.
Yeah. Completely. I mean, again, it's the number of decks. We're only going to have 3 teams in South America, so you're talking 9 decks that we're going to be looking at here. But no, it's interesting. Played houses are nearly the same between USA and Asia. Yeah,
I'd be very interested as the game goes on, and as like Dis has been gone and Mars has been gone for a while now, and you can see they've gone. I'm pretty sure Shadow or Logos are probably on the chopping block in the next set.
They need to replace them with something interesting, though. That's the thing. So let's see what comes around.
They replaced Dis with Fish People.
I like them. I know not as good as Dis. Don't get me wrong, but I still like them.
They could replace Shadows with Sky Pirate. It's Shadows of the Sky.
Yeah, that would work. That would work. So look at the common cards then. In Europe and USA and South America, Infernus is their top of the list.
Yeah.
In Asia, it's second. So, again, doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm kind of surprised in Asia with the amount of mass mutation that Infernus is only second. Because this was their highest house.
Yep.
I'll be all interested when we come to the rares to see if it's all filled with this as well. But how many jars are there?
Probably 70. Kirby, most Kirby's come from the US, 15 out of 22. So these 2 Star Alliance cards on that entire list anyway.
And that's comms Officer Kirby, not Subject Kirby.
Yeah, so that's the Wells Glide version, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Looking at this, Daughters up there, again, not surprising.
No.
I mean, there's nothing here that's a bit jumps out at me particularly.
Daughters in 3. The lack of Shadows in Europe, given that it was the 3rd biggest house.
Overall.
Fourth biggest house. Can't make sense.
So, but market disc, 19 of them out of 27 in
our
Europe.
team has 4 bolters in their group, and the multi group has got 4 bolters.
There's only 3 teams in the multi group, so we're not going to go through that one too much. So, Ultimo Fox, you have all of the multis in the multi group.
Apart from the multi Infernus being in the top 2, makes perfect sense. Board wipes being that. It's kind of what you could see, but there's a lot less efficiency plays in the US and Europe. When you look at Asia and South America, it seems to be more like Binding Irons, take away your opponent's efficiency, Galactic Inquiry, Daughter, Neurosiphon. There's not as many draw effects in the common cards in Europe and the US.
Yeah. No.
Not taking into account Daughter, of course. But I'm interested to see what the next one's going to be.
Uncommon and rares.
What?
Anguish.
There's 8 soul snatchers.
I love
the fact there's 8 soul snatchers.
I love the 7 anguishes in Asia.
2 obsidian forages in South America.
4 ultra gravitons. Neutron Shark in Europe. Wow.
No, don't. Two of those are in no kind of minimum because Christoph's brought his deck that has 2 Neutron Sharks in it with 2 Archimedes.
Quetzal
Don't
Stone.
Jack.
There's 8 Ultra Gravitons on there. I mean, Quetzal Knight, Quetzal Stone. Yeah, we knew they were there. So it's Positron Bolt,
It's
Sloppy
the fact it's
Labwork.
majority logos that's kind of those really bring any of the houses.
It is for Europe and USA and obviously Asia, but the other two are such a small subset, so it's hard
Out
to get
of
through.
the 8 cards displayed, there's only 1 Shadows card in Europe.
That's true.
That's phenomenal to me. There's so much data to go through today. Well, that's the last one. Let's get the quiz ready.
Yep. So let's move on.